Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yona of the Dawn, chapters 230 and 231. I don't really like to do double Yona chapters because they tend to be very sort of... There's always a lot to dig into with Yona, so I'm hoping this will be a not too terribly long video, but 231 dropped today, and I hadn't done 230 yet, so I'm going to try to do both in one video. We'll see what comes of that. But anyway, when we last left our heroes, the fire was burning. Mei-Nyan and Lily and their respective allies, Val and Ayora and Tatora, went into the castle to try to stop the Dromos from burning it down. And they did a decent enough job of it. Hiryuu died. We saw that Hiryuu was, dead at the Dromos from the Dromos that he fought. But he weakened them enough that Val and Mei-Nyan took down 3 of them. I think, was it Ayora and Tatora fought one of them and didn't quite kill him and are seemingly out of the picture, because he returns after Lily rescues Yoon from him, with bloodied claws and no sign of Ayora and Tatora. But before we can really deal with that, Yoon tells the group there's actually one more member of the Dromos, but he's not actually a member of the Dromos, he's Chagol himself, who appears behind Mei-Nyan and stabs her just straight through the chest. Maybe not quite killing her, but still a painful reminder that she is still within his sway. So with that said, that cheery note, let's dive right on into chapter 230. We have the cover of the magazine this time. To celebrate volume 39, which is out. I saw the cover. It's a really nice Suwon shot. But this is not that. This is Yona and Yoon and Jaeha and Zeno at a hotel or something. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but it's not really that important. Let's dive into the chapter itself. So we open with Chagol's mask having fallen, revealing him. Chagol pierced Mei-Nyan with his dagger, and Mei-Nyan is just stunned to see him. Your Majesty, Chagol, why are you here? And Chagol just taunts, I've simply come to fetch my cat. He takes the mask off, fully revealing himself. I was just fooling around a bit. Running through the confusion of the castle town as a Dromos was truly amusing. And Yoon is just stunned at the arrival. This person is Chagol? The man with the highest authority in South Kai. How sinister. Just like a venomous snake. Chapter 230, The Poison Spreads, which, given I love this cover image here of, Chagol as a snake, looming over Mei-Nyan as Chagol himself sort of drapes himself around her, trapping her, which ties in with that poison, as, snakes are often poisonous, venomous, you know what I mean. But Chagol goes on, looks like you had your fill, kitten, but playtime is over. It's time to go home. And Val starts to move to try to rescue Mei-Nyan, and Chagol stops him. Don't move, Val. You've betrayed me, haven't you? Yeah, Chagol knows exactly where Val's loyalties lie. What a shame. I thought you were wiser than that. And I love this, creepy grin we see here on page 6. You wanted to elope? To throw everything away? Is Koka Kingdom that much of a paradise to you both? Look closely around you. This is hell that stands before you. And, we see the burning of Kuuto to really sell that image. But Lily interjects. Wait, you speak as if you had already won, but the Dromos were all defeated. I guess they did beat the last Dromos last chapter, just kind of block that out. What with the arrival of Chagol? You're the only one left. How do you plan to leave with Mei-Nyan from here? And Chagol just taunts, did you believe that my escort consisted of only 5 of them? And that gets Mei-Nyan and Val's attention. As, even weakened, they really had to struggle to beat the 4 they fought. And these are all going to be guys who did not fight Hiryuu, who are not weakened by that, while our heroes are weakened. There are more Dromos still lurking. And Mei-Nyan just mutters out, Your Highness, Your Majesty Chagol, please pardon me. Is this about to be it feels like she might be in pure fear, going back to Chagol, but she might also betray him with this. We'll see. Forgive me. No, she does just surrender. She doesn't see a way forward beyond surrender. She's fully trapped by him, as is made very clear by all of the imagery throughout this chapter. And Chagol responds, "Aren't you cute, my stray cat? There. If you return home, I won't kill you. Haven't you accomplished your duty after all?" I don't know if all I thought Mei-Nyan was here for, I mean, she was brought here for Lantan's funeral, right? But, she also was here because of the Crimson illness. I don't know what other mission Chagol might have given her. Her duty, Val thinks? It seems like you have killed Rantan skillfully. Okay. So it was Mei-Nyan. I don't think Mei-Nyan was here when Rantan died. Apparently this translation uses the R instead of the L. I think it was LMGS that used the L translation. Anyway. And that gets Val's attention. Rantan, this is Yoon. As I recall, it's that important person from the delegation of South Kai that Yona was accused of poisoning and caused an uproar. And Mei-Nyan flashes back. You want to join the delegation? What for? This is in her duties as consort. I wish to be of service for your highness, and I can also act as a guard for the members of the delegation this way. Oh, to my avail? Yes. If so, kill Rantan. So maybe the delegates genuinely did not know about the Rantan assassination. As I recall, they were kind of on board with Rantan dying. They weren't really hurt by it. But they might have actually come as a surprise to them. I'm a little skeptical of that, given, as I recall, how uncaring they were. But I don't know. We'll see. Mei-Nyan responds, "Excuse me? That man worships the Northern Emperor. If you kill him during the trip, I'll let you accompany the delegation. That noble is only a small fry. If it's you, I know you can handle it." And Yoon reacts, "Huh? The culprit was Mei-Nyan? You accomplished what you had to do. You can just lay the blame on Princess Yona and come back, shaking with dignity. You are killing and betraying. Am I not the only owner that would happily welcome it? I am the one you return home to." I really do, as creepy as it is, love the imagery all around Chagol. How terrifying he is. How he is this, literally oppressive presence over Mei-Nyan. It was maybe a little on the nose with that really cool snake image from the cover. But all over, just about every panel of him, he's all over her. Especially this "I am the one you return home to" panel, where, he's literally, pushing her out of the panel, and, she's not even fully detailed. Her, lower half of her face is just not there. And I think this is Val who steps in. "Your Highness." And he bows. Val, I think, is gonna do it appears he's coming back to Chagol and then betrays him sort of move that Mei-Nyan didn't do. Chagol looks at him. "What, Val? Pleading for your life?" "I won't forget the immense favor I owe you. For this I give you my thanks. And I bid you farewell." Val is just fucking leaving. "I return to you the title of one of the 8 generals of South Kai that your highness has bestowed upon me." And Chagol just snaps back. "Don't be so formal only to revolt. Are you already dying?" But we have a translator note here. Katsuna Yona has reached its 13th year of serialization. Thank you so much to the readers and the persons who celebrated it. Okay. Yona's, it's been a long run for Yona, and I don't think it's really going to be slowing down anytime soon, so, happy, I guess it's, 13th birthday, because it came out in 2009, I think. Let me do a quick, this is because entering its 13th year could mean it's its 12th birthday, or 12th anniversary. Let me do a quick little wiki search. No, it was 2009. It was 2009. So it's entering its 14th year. It's been running for you know what I mean. It's not that important. Are you already dying? I guess implying the only reason Val would betray him is if, his life no longer matters anyway. But Val rejects. "I'm not. I feel fine and I ask you to let her go. She is not as alone as you assume." Val is just great. I love Val. He's just so cool. In that case, I will make it so that she is truly alone by making everyone here disappear. And he summons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He summons at least 7 more Dromoses. Dromai, I think. My Greek is not that good. Not good at all. I took Latin in high school, but very much not Greek. Still, more and better rested than the Dromos that the gang had to really struggle to beat last chapter. I told you, right? This is hell. And Val, Lily, and Yoon all sort of... Yoon and Lily especially panic. Val is just, he's not as open about the panic, but he's definitely not feeling too good here. Mei-Nyan begs, wait, please stop. I'm the one who forcibly got them involved in this. And the Dromos close in on Yoon and Lily. And Val blocks all of them. As Mei-Nyan calls, don't kill them! And this I don't think is Chagol. I think this is a Dromos, because he's still wearing the Dromos mask. What are you talking about, princess? Didn't you kill your fellow countrymen too? And Mei-Nyan, freezes in guilt, for her actions, as she thinks, in the depths of hell, here was the thing I wished for. I guess, people who care about her, is the thing. Please, she says aloud. Here was the thing I wished for my whole life. Oh, it's just her and Val. It's that bond, that love there. And out loud she says, I will go back. I will go back along with your highness. And she thinks to herself, that's fine. That's fine enough. Though I don't think Val will see things that way. And Chagol, in a bit of a contrast to the sort of way in the earlier panel, I think on page 11, on 11, he sort of stole definition from her. Here, he's very undefined, but as opposed to sort of, in Mei-Nyan's case, feeling like it robbed agency from her, here it continues to present Chagol as this kind of, as both a powerful warrior and an emperor, and also a symbol for Mei-Nyan's fear and dread and trauma. Don't forget, I am the one who makes the decisions here. We're going home, kitten. And she pushes her little hoe away onto the ground as she leaves. I guess her last possible act of kindness here, as she's accepted that she has no chance, to spare the squirrel from all the pain she'll soon suffer. And she looks over to Yoon and Lily. Yoon, Lily, I'm sorry for bringing you into this. But Val is not giving up, dashing at Chagol as Mei-Nyan panics. Val! And one of the Dromos leaps from behind Chagol to run at Val, and Val just skewers him and yells, Mei, you bastard! Don't you dare decide this on your own, or I'll be mad. But before he can do much of anything about that, he gets a good old slash on the back from one of the Dromoses, and he cuts at him. Get lost! But still, it's just too many Dromai for Val to have any real impact. He's just getting hit and hit and hit. Gah! And he hits the ground as Mei-Nyan calls, Val! Your Highness, please make it stop. I said I would go home. You said you wouldn't kill me if I came back, right? I did, but he's about to say, I'm gonna guess, I said I wouldn't kill you, but I didn't say anything about the rest of them. Pretty classic villain line there. And honestly, that's sort of line that normally feels something of a betrayal, but Chagol is not in the right here, but trying to kill Val, who is actively trying to kill him, is not really a betrayal of any terms. Chagol still sucks, and Chagol still deserves whatever punishment he'll end up getting later on, but it's not really a betrayal of anything there. Mei-Nyan, however, did not take it to mean that, and so she is stunned. More importantly, look, and we gaze on the burning castle. Hiryuu's end. And she calls out, Va! But one of the Dromos takes her away. Val reaches for her, but he's sliced from behind. And as Chagol turns to leave, he gives Val one last look. Farewell, Val. I don't think I will ever meet a military man like you again. I'll truly miss you. And Val stares up at him as he's being held back by the Dromos. Is Val actually gonna die here? Like, I could see that happening. You know, it's a real sort of twisting the knife with all the kinds of, the sort of like, not quite fluffy given everything going on around Val and Mei-Nyan as they reunited, but like they were a sweet couple, and I really hope Val somehow makes it through. And then we don't quite see what's going on with Val as we see two more Dromos members approach Yoon and Lily as Yoon fruitlessly tries to protect her. And one of the Dromos jumps over at Yoon, and Yoon flinches, but feels nothing. And we see Hiryuu has cut down, still alive, barely holding on to life, has cut down the Dromos. Hiryuu, I'm relieved so you were alive. We're in big trouble. Mei-Nyan was taken away, and like, while saying all that, Yoon touches the back of Hiryuu's back and pulls away his hand covered in blood. And Hiryuu is barely standing. Hiryuu! And Hiryuu is barely able to move. His wound is severe. He's not in any state to fight. And Hiryuu flashes back to a talk with Suwon. Hiryuu, I entrust you with Yoon and Mei-Nyan's protection. The both of them know about the Crimson Illness. Okay. Which is interesting. Like, you know, I would have considered at least Kai-suk would have been like, you know, their lives aren't important. If they die, they die. Though maybe if they're captured, that's like very bad for Koka. But still, you know, Suwon is also, this might have been after Suwon left for like, we don't quite know when that conversation was. It might have been after Suwon left, or after Yoon left to get the Senjutsu. I think the timeline works that that's a possibility, though I wouldn't quite quote me on that. So Suwon might just be, especially as Suwon kind of realized over the course of the battle in Keen, that might have been an early showing of that kind of illogical sympathy. Because logic might have been, kill anyone who knows, but he's specifically saying, protect them for their knowledge. Protect them. Mei-Nyan has that family tie. Yoon risked so much for Suwon, for, you know, which was not really deserved. That might be an example, a late/early, because of how flashbacks work, of Suwon's, you know, growing empathy, for lack of a better term. The Dromos, two more Dromos lunge at Hiryuu. You half-dead soldier! I couldn't protect Mei-Nyan. This is Yoon's panic. Nor Hiryuu Castle. And we see the castle continues to burn as we move somewhere else. You wish to return to the castle? Oh, it's Kai-suk and Yona. Kai-suk is back in Keen Province. Whatever you say, I would ask you to refrain for now and to return to your own. But Yona tells him that's not it. I love seeing Hawk just like standing there guarding Yona. I have a bad premonition. And Kai-suk, who of course, being a follower of Suwon's father, is not big on the religious side of Koka culture. A premonition? Let me speak with Suwon at once. And just then someone calls in, Princess Yona! And it's Minsu. What's wrong? The four dragons have collapsed. Hiryuu Castle is in flames, and with it the source of the dragon's power. Continues in issue 20, September 20th, which just came out. That chapter just came out today, is the English translation, I think. So yeah, let's take a moment though to talk about this chapter, because it's a great chapter all around. Just, you know, I talked a lot during the chapter about the way that Chagol is presented, both as this, you know, powerful king and emperor, and even a bit of a powerful fighter, though we don't see a lot of him fighting. But his real terror is not his power as emperor. It's the psychological force he holds on Mei-Nyan. We see that with the snake in the cover. We see that in both the bits on page 11 in the I'm the One You Return Home To, as she like crowds him out of the panel. The sort of unreal lighting to him on page 17 and the I'm the One Who Makes the Decisions here, which both of those, either metaphorically in the way she's crowded out of the panel on 11, and just the line there on 17, is like, a sign of the trauma Chagol presents, kind of robbing Mei-Nyan of agency. She doesn't want to go back to him, but she's so terrified that she sees no other way. Which, it fits Chagol as in the way he works, the symbol of Mei-Nyan's trauma. There's a lot of symbolism, I think, to Chagol there. But now there's not much of a chance. Hiryuu's on his last legs, and there's still a lot of Dromos left. When he wasn't on his last legs, he was able to beat one of them and injure 3. Now there's 7 who are uninjured. I mean, a couple of them fell to Val and Hiryuu already, but still, things don't look good, especially with the castle burning, and we see the results of that over in Keen Province. The dragons have collapsed. So we'll see how that comes into 231 right now. With A Burning Dream is what Mangadex tells me the title. I'm not at the title yet. And we have another magazine cover that seems to be like the second half of the previous one, because it's the same kind of hotel motif, the same sort of like old inn motif. Except this time with Hawk, Shina, and Kija. It's a nice image. Chapter 231, A Burning Dream. Hiryuu Castle, the source of the dragon's power, is burning up. And now the dragons are... And our image here is of Zeno falling in the void. Which, fits the fact that the dragons are unconscious. And Zeno is... Well, he's conscious inside this sort of mental void state. Huh? What's going on? I'm falling. And he looks down and we see flames. And all the dragons falling in with him. This is bad. If this goes on, White Dragon and the others will fall into the flames too. Make it stop. These guys can't endure it. He sees this as real and not as like a weird dream thing, which is an interesting little bit there, because it's very clearly like unreality. At least from where I'm standing. But he still sees it as, a very real threat. Or a very, like, the flames are real and not the part of a terrible nightmare or a vision or something. Help! Someone! Your Majesty! And on that line, we cut to Yona shaking him awake. Zeno! And Zeno wakes up. Miss, Zeno, you came back to your senses. And he looks over, White Dragon and the others are... and Yona tells him everyone is here, but they're barely conscious. And we see Hawk yelling at Jeha, Droopy Eyes, hey, you're kicking the bucket, say something. And Jeha mutters, don't be absurd. And Kija, exhausted, breathing heavy, my body feels so heavy. And then picks himself up. Suddenly everything became pitch black. And Shina, ever a man of few words, just mutters, hot. And Hawk questions, Hawk? Hot? Not Hawk. I dreamed I was engulfed in flames. The flames aren't just like some metaphor hell thing. It's because the castle is burning. Duh. Idiot sometimes. Kija notes, I had the same dream. And Jeha, me too. It was as if my entire body was burning. Flames. And then Yona chimes in, I had it too. A dream where Hiryuu Castle was engulfed in flames. I had this dream before the war started. Right, I remember that now. It's been a while, because the war's been going on for a while. But yeah, there was that dream. But even now, it's buzzing in my head. Does it mean... and then she calls out... Or no, someone calls to Kai-suk from outside. I guess Kai-suk's in the tent with them. Advisor Kai-suk. And he comes out, General Judo, we're busy right now, so could you... But Judo interrupts. Just now, a signal fire has been launched from Kuuto's direction. Oh, they're about to find out. And Kai-suk, knowing, I mentioned in the previous chapter that, as part of Suwon's father's faction, he was always kind of anti-Hiryuu religion. But he knows, I guess having met the dragons has sort of at least opened up the possibility, to acknowledge the validity of the religion, even if I don't think he would believe that, that, the way that Il and his father believed that was how they should govern Koka. I don't think he would believe that that's a proper way of governing. But he knows enough that there is some truth to that, as he questions, is Hiryuu Castle on fire? And Judo's just, no, we don't have details yet. The guards are saying that it seems like something unusual occurred, but... Huh? Hiryuu Castle? What's that about the Hiryuu Castle? Right, because Judo, of course, has no idea. And we cut to Suwon. And Guntae, who we see that it's Yona and Kaisuk and Suwon and Judo and the four generals. Guntae and Lily's father and I always forget the Fire Tribe general's name. And the Wind Tribe is that Hande? I always forget which one is Hande and which one is the other one with the Wind Tribe. I always have to go to the wiki every single time they show up. Taewoo is the general. And then the Fire Tribe general's name is the older brother. It's Kyoga, Taejun's brother. There we go. So it's Kyoga and fuck! I just looked at his name. Why am I so bad with his name in particular? Taewoo. I'm so stupid. You know me. But Guntae reacts, Hiryuu Castle's on fire? And you say so because Princess Yona and the dragon saw it in their dream. But Yona tells him, I do not wish for that dream to be true either. But it is a fact that something is occurring in Kuuto as we speak. And I think we see Suwon, this might be Suwon's line, or maybe Kaisuk. It might just be a sign that Suwon is, fading, because he does not look good. Even after the battle, even with whatever help the Senjutsu was, he still does not look great. The possibility of an attack is not too far-fetched. Then, has South Kai's army invaded Kuuto? And Guntae thinks, indeed, doing so would allow them to seize the heart of the Koka kingdom. And Lily's father, or invade Hiryuu Castle. Your Majesty, let's go back and send our soldiers to the castle. But Suwon has an interesting response there, just muttering, aren't you hungry? And Judo just gets angry. Pardon? How about we treat ourselves to a meal? Please prepare dinner for the soldiers as well. Let them rest for today. But Judo is not pleased at this course of action. Your Majesty! And Suwon just tells him it'll take 2 days at best to travel from here to the castle with an army. Even with haste, the fire will not be extinguished. And Kyoga, I think this might be... We either see Kyoga, or this is more of Suwon's line. The speech bubbles are not pointed at Kyoga, so I think it's still Suwon. It's unlikely that they seize the castle with large forces, so our opponents should number in few. We are not conceding yet. However, if we move from here, it's the Earth Tribe that will be invaded. Oh, so he's not saying rest and then go help. Once we're on a full stomach, he's saying either we move our whole army for a small little unit in Kuuto, or we surrender, or we protect the Earth Tribe. We can't do both. I mean, I reckon they could still send a few troops over to Kuuto. But that line gets Guntae's attention. The acknowledgement that, Suwon is risking all this to help him. And Taewoo turns to leave, and Kaisuk calls out to him, where are you headed, General Taewoo? I'm gonna grab a bite and call it a day. The castle matter can be left for another time, right? And Kyoga is stunned at this. What is Taewoo going on about? To just leave and go eat when Kuuto might be in peril right now? Isn't this an issue of national importance? And Kyoga just says out loud, am I the weird one? I don't think Suwon is wrong, but he also is a little callous. It comes across, him and Taewoo both, as a little callous. But still, they can't do much. And Lily's father notes, right? If I were the king, that would make me fall into despair. And Guntae just notes as both chilling and encouraging to be so unfazed. And we see Kyoga and Guntae and Lily's father, who I'm gonna look the name up for really fast on the wiki. Because I'm tired of calling him Lily's dad. Jungi, Kyoga, and Guntae all leave the tent. And Suwon turns to Judo. Concerning the matter with Hiryuu Castle, we mustn't let it sway the morale of our generals. Please relay that to the tribes. And Judo notes yes. And then Suwon, after Judo leaves, Suwon notes Yona, who has stayed. What is it? And Yona asks, how's your body? And Suwon pauses for a moment and tells her, I'm alright. Besides me. And Yona tells him, this is about Hawk, he's resting right now. as he hasn't completely recovered yet. But Suwon then says, Yona, besides Hiryuu Castle, have you seen anything else in that dream of yours? And Yona questions, why do you ask? Well, it's just that during that last battle, there were times where it seemed like you sensed the danger coming. So I wondered if you might have inherited Queen Kashi's power. Oh yeah, because her mother could see the future on occasion. I didn't really note her sensing danger coming in the course of the battle, but maybe what I read as her noticing things early was actually a bit of prophecy. But Yona objects to that. I don't have any special power. And with that, she leaves and sees Hawk waiting for her outside the tent, not resting like he's supposed to be doing. Hawk, I told you to sleep. And I love Ao jumping across from Yona's shoulder to rest on Hawk's. And Hawk tells her, I'm worried about Yoon. He's clever, so I think he's okay, but... Ooh, if only you knew, my man. Yeah, Yoon is fine. No doubt about it. And we're seeing it, she's just saying that, but also she needs to say it to believe that everything's fine. God, I pulled something in my foot, I think. Holy fuck, that hurts. Okay. After all, you came back to us. But just the weight of Yoon being in danger finally causes her to break down. As Hawk questions, Princess? Hawk, my mother was a shrine maiden. And I don't know if Hawk really knows about Queen Kashi. She had this mysterious power of seeing into the future. And the future was exactly as she foretold. And Hawk questions, do you think your dream of the castle might come from this power too? I don't know. And she flashes back to what Suwon pressed. It's what Suwon asked. Besides Hiryuu Castle, have you seen anything else? And she admits, while she denied that to Suwon, she says, because I've actually seen something else besides Hiryuu Castle. Oh, I forgot about that part of the nightmare. Jae-ha and the others, Suwon and Mei-Nyan, inside coffins. Not Zeno. Was Zeno in the nightmare? Is that was he there and he's just been left out of this? Somehow in some way, I don't need to say somehow twice, Zeno did die. And it's been a while since the dream, so I don't quite remember the exact details. I don't remember when the dream happened. But I don't know. Point being, at least 5 of them dying inside coffins. I thought it was a mere dream, but Hiryuu Castle, just like in my dream, it might have ended just like in my dream. She can't even finish the thought of all of them dying. As she breaks down there, and Hawk grabs her hands. It was just a dream. I won't let that happen. I will never let it come true. And that gives Yona the strength to think, that's right. It's still too early to bow down. This is what these hands are always teaching me. Right, I can't let it happen. But we see in the distance Zeno listening in to that conversation. And Zeno, knowing more than anyone about history and all this shit, may have some thoughts on all that. But the dawn rises. We see Jae-ha, Kija, and Sheena are sleeping somewhat fitfully after the night they've had. And we see Yona looking solemn at them. As Zeno comes in, Miss, the divine protection of the castle is weakened, but it didn't completely vanish. The mausoleum underground might still be standing. Oh right, with it being morning, that means that whatever's going on in Kuuto is kind of over. The fates of Yoon and Lily and Ayora and Totoro, which is still somewhat unknown, and Val and Hiryuu are kind of settled. However they end up being settled, we don't really know how they may be settled there. Whether or not they made it out or not. I don't know sometimes I just, lose track of the words. But Yona looks up at him, really? They are still wounded from the battle, but they will be fine. If we talk only in terms of injuries, this is nothing next to the misters. And we see Hawk over there, covered in bandages, and Yona's just, that doesn't reassure me at all. But then Yona steps out. I'll head out to see if there's been any news from the castle. And she steps out, and Hawk joins her. To Yona's protests, Hawk, go rest. I want to make use of my time. Please let me stay by your side. And Yona blushes at that. A real cute line there. But we see Kyoga up with the sentry. The fast horse is still not here. And the sentry tells him, it seems like it, sir. And Yona sees him. Kyoga, you're here. And Kyoga, snaps at her. You lot in the Sky Tribe are so easygoing. If something were to happen to Hiryuu Castle, a symbol of our country, what would you... And he freezes on seeing that it's Yona, as if he thought it was, Suwon or Judo, maybe. I don't know. It's weird that he wouldn't realize it was Yona right away, given the other Sky Tribe people here are all men and would sound a little different to Yona. I don't know. Princess Yona, so you were here. And Yona just tells him, I wanted to retrieve information about the castle. So, and then she questions, so were you? Yes. I've been studying in the castle since the few months I've been a general, so it's like a second home to me. And Hawk notes in the distance, hey, that pigeon in the sky over there. Isn't that a carrier bird? But the sentry tells them, no, that's an ordinary pigeon. And then we hear from the ground, hey, it's Hawk! And it's the Sky Tribe soldiers from the, Hawk was training with for a while. Oh, so you guys came here too? Of course we're here. Squad 35 is in charge of the troop supplies. Come do your job too, Hawk. Aren't you in our squad? Need some hands for the food and other stuff. Right? They're gonna drag him back into menial labor. Good for you, Hawk. My bad. And Kyoga, I guess, has not heard about the whole Hawk being an infantryman. Just thinks, in charge of the supplies? The food? You're in strange company, Thunderbeast. Then Yona sees something. What, just like Suwon kind of noted, is the first to see it. You know, it is much like the battle where, whether or not she was seeing things for everyone else or was prophesying, Yona still sees things first. There's a horse coming. And Hawk and Kyoga look at it. You're right. But this is not a Sky Tribe soldier. This is the sentry. A Wind Tribe soldier, then? They're impressively fast. But Hawk notes, nah, that ain't a Wind one either. And the horse just comes on by. The guards try to stop him. Hey, you. Whoever you are, stop right there. Halt! Any closer and you'll be flagged as an intruder. And Hawk approaches and grabs his spear. Let me borrow this for a second. Oh, is this gonna be, the general that Hawk fought at Keen Province, maybe? Whose name I'm blanking on? Hey, you over there. Can you please stop? Don't tell me I didn't warn ya. And no, it's someone a lot more intense than that. And Hawk brings up the spear, and the man blocks it with his knife. For some reason, my gut instinct is telling me that might be Chagol, even, though I kind of doubt it. Ugh, he's strong. Oh, no, it's Hiryuu and Yoon. Okay, Hiryuu's kind of my next guess. The only two people who are relevant right now who have that level of intensity is the two of them. But Yoon calls out, wait! And everyone is stunned, seeing Yoon, suddenly reunited with Yoon, but without Mei-Nyan or Val or Lily. I don't know, well, I'm a little nervous. We only got 2 pages left, and it would be quite the cliffhanger to be like, Lily's dead. I don't know. Because, he wouldn't say Val's dead. They wouldn't know Val. But Yona and Hawk, note him and call out, Yoon! And Yoon tells them, I'm glad I found you. Yoon, hey, you're alright. Oh no, that wasn't Hiryuu. It was Val. It's just, it looked like it had the same skin tone as Hawk, as they were both in shadow, and so I figured it was Hiryuu. But no, it is Val, on closer look. And Yoon checks in on him, are you okay? Your wound is reopening. You went too far with it. And Hawk just questions, who is that guy? This is Val. He's a former South Kai general. And just then Kyoga appears. Hearing the words, South Kai general? Mei-Nyan was taken away. I'm heading to South Kai to save her. For the friend he connected with in Koka, he will go to South Kai. And continues in issue 21, October 5th. Okay, so I said everything I really wanted to say about 230 when I read 230, so this part's going to cover 231. And while I didn't like this chapter quite as much as I did 230, which I thought was just really, really strong, this is a lot of setting up the sort of next phase of the arc. I imagine 232 is going to touch a little bit on how Val and Yoon escaped, given that's still sort of up in the air, what happened to Hiryuu and Lily, and maybe confirmation on Ayora and Totoro, though maybe not, as they're kind of out of the picture still, if they're still out of the picture. But this is largely, Yona and the gang sort of reacting to what little they know of what's happened in Kuuto. I imagine next chapter they will also find out what happened in Kuuto, along with finding out what happened between 230 and 231. But, like, it's largely them getting caught up on things, both, like, psychically or prophetically and otherwise, and also that cliffhanger setting up the next phase, sneaking into South Kai for Mei-Nyan. I imagine if Suwon does let them go, it will be, on the condition they also take Chagol's head while they're at it, but we'll see how Suwon reacts to an ally, such a close ally with Yona, allying with a former South Kai general to rescue the consort of the Emperor. Like, from a political standpoint, I mean. Obviously that's, like, the moral thing to do, but will Suwon really go for that? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, 231 is it's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good character work, through Yona's increasing dread as to what her dream might have meant, that it's not just a dream, it is actual. It could be part of her mother's gift of prophecy coming through. If the castle is burning just like in her dream, then maybe, Jaeha and Kija and Shina and Mei-Nyan and Suwon are also destined to the fate she dreamed of. And that's, now that we have the castle burning, it's, I think, much easier to it's a much more concrete thing to hold over our head than this, like, vague bad dream. Now there's this idea it could be somewhat prophetic. So yeah, it's a lot of setting up the sorts of thing I think are going to be important for the next part of the arc. Along with reuniting Yoon with the rest of the cast, and making Val more than just, introducing Val into Yona's orbit. However exactly that comes about. Along with setting up the fact there are answers we need now, that we just don't know how exactly they made it out alive. I just noticed on 28, the Ao Ho reunion is so adorable. They're, like, leaping off of Val and Hawk to, like, greet each other. It's so cute. So adorable. But yeah, all in all, it does very much feel kind of set-up-y, but, like, in a good way. It's set up while also sort of exploring this potential power Yona might have, and the ways that weighs on her in some very terrifying ways. And it's just not fun, but, like, it's a damn good pair of chapters here. I think 230 is the stronger of the pair, but 231 is no slouch in that regards either. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapters in the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!